Hi everyone, today we're going to create another Halloween themed tutu dress. Now I'm going to show you a way using pinking shears, I believe these are called. Anyway, it's the one with the teeth and it helps keep things from fraying, if you can see that. And they're not very sharp. I can rub my finger across there and no worries. This is a little time consuming in comparison of leaving it be, but it's worth it. So you're going to take your tool that you folded over, bring the tails together as closely as possible. Now this will be a little easier for you because you'll be doing it on a flat surface. But all you're going to do is take these scissors, this type, and cut. And basically you can play with it and make it as jagged as you want. And see if you can see that. And I'll show you one more time on our black tool. But this is going to make a really cool effect, especially for the Halloween festivities that a lot of people go to. Okay, I told you I'd show you in black. Hopefully this will show up more. We're just going to cut with these. Now, if you want to go crazy, you can even use these to cut it off your bolt or off your roll. But for me, this is good enough. And just cut. The cool thing about this is you want it to look almost torn. I've read in different blogs and some different sellers out there that they use tearing, and I'm not quite sure how they keep it from stretching on them and ruining the tool itself. So we're just going to do it this way. Now let's see. Let's get started creating this tutu dress for Halloween. Okay, I've started on this and we're going to turn this into a dress, and it's going to have 2 elastic bands. Let's see if you can see that. We've got the top one just like you normally do, and then we're going to add another elastic band and kind of give it a tighter, more defined top portion. Now I'm going to show you real quick the slip knot method and how we're putting some tulle together. Now this is going to be the citrus green and black, and then we're going to add citrus green and black mixed together throughout, sort of like an accent. And it's the same process. We've already said we're going to do the cut with the shears, that basically the scissors with the teeth. See if you can see that. If you can, I really apologize. I'm trying to find a way. But it just gives it more of a jagged, rough look. Okay, so you're going to bring it together. Now on this one in particular, I want it to be a little staggered because this is going to be a Halloween costume. So bring it together. Like I said, I'm going to have it a little less even. Not too much, just a little. Now bring it as close together as possible. Now this is just 2 pieces, but if you're going to put 2 of each color together, you're going to have a fat slip knot. Use your dowel or stick-like implement to tighten it so it'll look clean on here for you. Okay, so we've joined it together. We've tightened it, squished it as much as possible. You're not going to mess with this one right here. This second ribbon, this second elastic band, we're going to do that in just a moment. Alright, bring it together, bring it under your elastic, widen it with your fingers, bring the tails through, gently tug down using your finger as a guide. Now I'm not tightening it all the way yet because I want to sporadically put this around, and once I tighten mine, they're not going anywhere. Okay, now to show you with the regular color. One of the biggest questions that I get is, how do you make an adult tutu wearable without all kinds of things underneath, you know, all kinds of clothes? And basically the more layers, the thicker it is. But you guys have to remember, tulle is sheer. So, you know, maybe some Spanx or some shorts, biker shorts or whatever, is a safe bet. But, you know, you can add several layers, especially if you're using a crocheted band. It's a little bit more difficult when you're using the elastic, simply because those knots start getting really, really thick and fat and then unattractive. All right, again, squish it. Bring your tails as close together. Don't forget, guys, that if you're doing the slip knot method, you need to double the length because you're going to fold it in half. Bring it under the elastic, widen it with your fingers, pull the tails through, use your finger as a guide, and gently tug down. Key thing here, while we use a dowel or stick-like implement, pen without ink, pencil, whatever, that's not sharpened, is we don't want this to bunch up. And the reason is the elasticity seems to last a lot longer when you haven't scrunched it up. Let me show you with the dowel real quick. Okay, showing you with the dowel. Now what I've done for my dowels is I've put some tape around it, because dowels are made out of what? Wood. And I didn't want to take any chances of splinters, so I just wrapped tape around it. That's optional for you, and it really kind of makes it last a lot longer. You can also use some blunt knitting needles or blunt crochet needles. That works really good too. Alright, kind of lift it away from your elastic base. Put it through and tug. And that's how you're tightening it. And look how nice that is. You've really made it smaller. I'm going to do one more for you. See if I can really get in here for you. Tug. And there you go. And it still leaves, if you don't tug completely tight, you can still move it a little. But see how I told you, mine, once I tighten them, it's hard to move. So I'm only going to do a couple. I'll finish this up, and then we'll get to the second elastic and then the embellishments. As you can see, we've placed all of the tulle on our first elastic band all the way around. We've already fixed our tulle knots, so it looks nice and clean. Why I always harp on having something to get the rest of the tulle away when you're working on a project is really for this type tutorial. I am going to now be working with the second elastic. First things first, kind of get the tulle out of your way so that you have a quote-unquote blank area to work with. Using those alligator clips that don't have teeth work great. Or if you're working with a mannequin, there's also an option at the head part. You can kind of shove that tulle there and put the top on there. It might wrinkle it a little bit, but it'll be out of your way. You may think that this takes extra time, but in the long run, if you make mistakes while you're placing your tulle on that second elastic band, you may find that you've included extra tulle pieces that you didn't want to. So again, in the long run, making a few adjustments, trying to get the tulle out of the way so it's easier for you to work with, seems to me the best solution for avoiding time-consuming mistakes. First things first, we've got our tulle out of the way. Now, you're going to take a look at your second elastic, and you're going to make sure that all the way around is even with the top elastic. Basically, you don't want one section of the second elastic to be real low and then the other high up, because this can really alter the way that this is going to look at the end. Now, you can make some adjustments as you're putting your tulle on, so don't worry too much about that. Just make sure that it's pretty even all the way around. This technique is not mine. I found this on a YouTube Tutu tutorial by Tulle Gal. Y'all check her out. She's got several videos that are invaluable to any of us DIY and crafters out there. And I love to spread the message when I find other creators out there that might be able to pass on something valuable to those of you watching my videos. Okay, we're going to take a section of 3 tulle spots. So basically 3 tulle knots from up top. And we're going to put it under the elastic. You may want to just do one at a time. It's going to be based on your preference and how easy it is for you to work with that much tulle at one time. Now, since we're working with several layers, we're going to pull the elastic away from what we're working on, for me, the mannequin, and we're going to gently pull the tool pieces that we're working with down and making sure, specifically making sure that we don't have any of it scrunched up, because that can wreak havoc. We want to make sure that it's smooth and easy to work with. I am taking the tails at the bottom of my second elastic and I'm kind of spreading them out. Now, I'm not working with one big clump from the first tool knot. And the reason why is because if you'll take a look, it'll look really thick. And that's not the effect I'm going for, because I only have 1.5 inch ribbon to utilize to cover this area. So I'm going to take my tails and I'm going to split it. Depending on how many layers you have, you'll split it that 2 pieces at a time. You know that it's already straight. You've got your 2 pieces that you're working with. Put your fingers above the second elastic, kind of pull it away from your mannequin. Bring the tails up. It's going to go under where you've pulled it away. Now, with your other 2 fingers, you're going to widen a section of those tails, and you're going to run those tail pieces through that hole you've created. While you're doing this, very important, tug down at the bottom. If not, you're going to have big, huge gaps. Now gently tug down, and here you go. To put it simply, you're creating another slip knot at the bottom. And now I'm going to share it with you a few more times. Pull it out a little bit, under, widen the bottom part, tug down gently so that way you don't have huge gaps. Bring it through the hole you've created. Now, gently tug down. I have finally finished adding all of the tulle to my second elastic band, and I think it looks great. The cool thing about this is it doesn't have to be citrus and black. You can change the colors up, and this just gives a more form-fitted look at the top. And you can change it up with various ribbons. One thing I did want to share with you is if you look at it after you've completed it, before you add any embellishments, and you see that there's a knot out of place or it just doesn't look right, it's really easy to fix it. First off, it's only 1 or 2 spots you have to fix compared to having to do the whole thing. But you can easily pull it out and readjust it using the same method you did to create it in the first place. The embellishments that I used was black satin ribbon around the top of the first elastic base. And then I got some 1.5 inch citrus or apple green ribbon to place my embellishments on. Now, one thing that Tulle Gal does that I don't normally do, but is a great option out there for y'all, is she actually puts a dab of hot glue on the center of the ribbon and places it on the dress itself. So that is an option for y'all. I usually don't do that for the simple fact that you may want to use this more than for, say, just Halloween. But it's a great place to know for sure this is the center spot. I hot glued some black flowers with rhinestone centers. I created a ghost, and that's what you see here. I used some little rhinestones that were black for the eyes, and all I did was use some leftover white fabric, cut it, made it look a little spooky looking. Some leftover tulle, shoved it at the top, and created the head effect, and then used one of those braiding clear rubber bands to make the head. And then for fun, I added one of those little plastic orange spiders that you can get at the dollar store. I took some more citrus or apple green ribbon and I made a ribbon for around the nape, and you can see here it's not centered yet, which I'll fix that because I didn't add any glue or embellishments to that. I just wanted to show you to get an idea of what it would look like. Take your long ribbon and tie a real pretty bow in the back, and you have a Halloween witch, a Halloween themed princess, a goth style. Change the colors up a bit and make one of Tim Burton's characters from Corpse Bride or the other ones that he has out there. So many options. I thank you all so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing, taking time out of your busy schedule to watch our videos. Remember, anything that you create is going to be fantastic. Why? Because you took the time to create it. From my family to yours, thank you so much for viewing.
go running in the rain. I've been there and back again. I know how to fix a heart. Love's the cure right from the start. Oh, the love we have is true. There is something special in you. Since your sun has set and the clouds are all that's left, oh, let's go running in the rain. Oh, let's go running in the rain. There you'll wash away the pain. We'll be running side by side till we cross the finish line.